Ba-da-ba-ba. Oh, wait. Can you hear me now? Oh my gosh. I think I have sound now. Pretty sure. Okay, fingers crossed that I have sound and you can actually hear me. I know. Mercury isn't even in retrograde yet. And this is like the kind of stuff that's happening. It's good times. Okay, you guys, I'm so excited about this. So excited to tell you about these crystal grids. Hey Becky! Oh my gosh, and Becky, I'm so glad you're here. You guys, I have pictures that the lovely Becky from Gypsy Soul Surfer has shared. Oh my gosh, they're awesome. So we have a lot of different examples of crystal grids. Where is my other thing? Oh God, what did I do? Oh, okay. There it is. All right. So we have many examples of crystal grids here. We're going to talk all about them. We're going to talk about like how, when, what. I know we got a lot of good stuff. Well, hello, Amanda Miller. So very excited about this. So I want to tell you first the couple of books that I use specifically for tonight. I used Crystal Pairings by Emily Suzanne Rayau, and I also used Spells for Change by Frankie Castaneda. Now, I have used this book several times. As you can see, there's a lot of pages that are marked. I use this book all the time now. This is an amazing book for anybody who is a practitioner or just learning or whatever. Well, hello, Suzanne and Veronica. How are y'all doing? This is a fantastic book. I highly, highly recommend it. I do not think I have any more of these in stock. I will check. We'll see. But I don't think I have any more in stock. But this is an amazing book, people. If you run into this book or if you see it on Amazon, you don't even have to buy it from my store. I just highly, highly recommend it. It's just such great information here. It was helpful in making crystal grids, not because there's crystal grids in here, but because there's a whole section on crystals. I really like this. Primarily for the crystal grids that I'm talking about tonight, I wanted to give you guys some great examples, so I am using it from the crystal pairings. I'm also using the gorgeous pictures that Becky sent me. Oh my gosh, they are fantastic. So, and I have a lot of other books that I just think would be useful to you, working with crystals in general. The Crystal User's Handbook. I really, really like this by Judy Hall. Incidentally, the next book that I'm going to show you is the Encyclopedia of Crystals. It's also by Judy Hall. This one is just a little bit more concise. It's a smaller book. Excellent books. Excellent. I'm loving them. Just telling you. If you want to double down on your money, okay, this is something that I use every month when I do the numerology readings, the Healing Oracle Crystal Reading Cards. This is one of the few card decks that I will read from the book. When I read for these cards, I read this from the book because this book is so freaking filled with just tons of information. So if you're looking for, I mean, look, this is one crystal card. Look how much information is on here. And it's good shit stuff. Trying not to cuss, YouTube, monetized. So there's just a lot of information. This book by itself is wonderful, but I love also pulling the cards. I pull a card from that deck once a month when I do the numerology. So if you've ever seen that show of mine, you'll see that I use those cards and I do read from those books. Becky says, I started with Judy Hall's Crystal Healing book 12 years ago. Oh my gosh. It is fantastic. It's fantastic. It's a lot like Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life. Like, I'm on the second or third book of that. You Can Heal Your Life. You can't go wrong with it. Like, it's good shit stuff. It's good stuff. You know, my potty mouth is going to get me demonetized. That's what it's going to do. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into this. So I want to talk to you guys about like different kinds of grids. Okay. First of all, there's a lot of like amazing ways to set up your crystal grids. There's a lot of amazing ways to do this, but there's also intuitive ways that you can do it yourself. Okay. I don't want to tell you that there's a wrong way to do this, because I don't feel like there is a wrong way to set up a crystal grid. For years and years, I chose my crystals. I mean, like, I'm talking about for 20 years. I really chose my crystals intuitively, because in the 90s, I couldn't find a lot of information. It just wasn't readily available. The only store I knew of, because I was in the late 90s, I was living in Athens, Georgia, and there was only one store that I knew of in the area, and that was the Phoenix and Dragon in Atlanta. So I couldn't find any really, really great literature, on crystals. I found some, but it just didn't give me all the information I needed. So I didn't realize it at the time, but I was choosing my crystals intuitively. I highly recommend that. If you are making a crystal grid and you feel like you need to put kyanite or jade, or if you need to just drop a big lump of amber right in the center, go for it. Do that. And I'm definitely going to show you some grids that may look a little bit like unorthodox, but this is something that is very personal. Okay. So I am going to talk to you about, when you're choosing your crystals, that you definitely need to use ones that are personal. Your crystal grid is personal to you. We use crystal grids. I'm just looking at my notes because I can't remember everything. Hey, Kelsey, how are you? So we can use crystal grids for something ultra specific, or it can be just like a general thing, like a general protection, or it can be for a specific healing. It can be for prosperity. It can be for cleansing. It can be for love. It can be for work, and it can even be for animals. And I'm saying that because I got Mouse sitting right here. He's just looking at me right now. So, and he's actually laying his little head on one of my crystals. Like, he's like liking the space where he's in now, because he can kind of see the window and me like at the same time, And then I've got Jasmine over here. Animals really respond well to crystals. So if you're doing a crystal grid for one of your animals, you could like put their picture on it. You can put a grid on their face on a picture. I don't recommend on their actual head, because but they respond really well to that, and they respond really quickly, as a matter of fact. So they lay on my, especially the cats will lay on my stuff all the time. Badger does in my house. He lays all over my crystals. And I'm just like, all right, it's fine. Now, the only thing I do is, when I set up a grid, I make sure to keep it in an undisturbed area, because it's trying to do something, it's like trying to do a job, right? I put this crystal grid together for protection, for healing, for prosperity, for cleansing, for love, work, whatever, or just world peace or whatever. I put that together, and I don't want it disturbed. So I sometimes will put mine inside of a drawer. If it's in my house, I put it inside of a drawer, because I've noticed that things, like even when things are up high, the cats still seem to find it. But if I put it inside a drawer, they don't really bother it that much because they can't get to it. So it's kind of nice, but I have to check on it all the time because I have these two little people that stomp in my house all the time. So thing one and thing two can disrupt things. And the crystals can have a tendency to move around on the grid. So you have to keep that in mind too. Yes, Becky. And I have that on the list. I have that on the list to talk about. So I want to start talking about different crystals and what you can use. As far as this particular one is called the Seed of Life. I'm going to switch my cameras. Okay, so this particular one is the Seed of Life, and it's like one of those like thin little particle board, like something, I don't know. It's just really pretty. I got it as a present and I love it. So and it's really cool because I'm going to disrupt it because I'm going to put this all back together and show it to you. But I just wanted to show you this because this is one that I created. It's not one that I got from a book, and it's really easy to set back up. So I'm just going to do that. Oh, great. And it has like mouse hair on it. Okay, so this is a Seed of Life. Oh, still jade. And I love this for so many reasons because there's all these different configurations that you can do inside of this, and it's like already laid out for you. And in fact, some of the ones that I'm going to show you in the book are very easily done on this. You can also find these with the Flower of Life. You can find them sort of that they have some of the Kabbalah symbols on them. I just love it. Some have more of the emphasis for chakras, stuff like that. So in this book, see how many different grids there are here? Here's the two most popular, which is the Seed of Life and the Flower of Life. And the Flower of Life has obviously a lot more details, a lot more going on. I prefer this one because with this one, and it's all preference. There's no rules here. With this one, I can actually I can do this grid and I can do this grid. Those two grids within this grid. Not only that, but do you see the geometric, there's patterns in here, and I was looking to see. Okay, so what I like in here is that we have the it's not a hexagon because it's not 8. Oh my gosh, I just forgot the shape here. I am doing real good today. It's 6. It's a 6-sided. And so it's really it's a fantastic, for me, this is the perfect size. It's the perfect grid. Now, this is the other thing, is that you can find one that you like online and print it. Thank you. It is a hexagon. It's just not an octagon. What is wrong with me? One of the boys came and woke me up the other night and was like, my voice hurts because he had a sore throat, and I let him drink my water. Well, we all got sick. We were all sick over Thanksgiving. It was absolutely delightful. So, it's fun. You have kids in school and everybody gets sick all the time. So, yes, hexagon. Thank you guys so much. It's octagon that I was thinking of. So, what I like about this is that I can do a hexagon. And yes, Becky is 100% right here. Becky is really, really good with this stuff. It's a guide, not a rule. It's a guide. This isn't a rule. So if you want to make a crystal grid for prosperity and you're not able to find something that really resonates with you in a book or in anything online, start working with the things that you know. Start working with the things that sing to you. Start working with something that makes sense to you. Okay? And again, I'm going to show you lots of examples here. But you can print one of these online. You can print any of these shapes online. Any of these. These are beautiful grids here. You can print any of these from like the internet and set yourself up exactly the way that how you want to shape it. Okay. I've even seen people do labyrinths. Now the labyrinth is a little more complicated because there's several different kinds of labyrinths as well. And I personally, my favorite is the 11 circuit labyrinth, but that's like a story for another time. But usually inside those 11 circuit labyrinths is some sort of flower or some sort of symbol that has six, it's like a flower with 6 petals. They call it a 6-petaled rose. And that's primarily why I do like the Seed of Life. I have a thing about using 6s in that way, because I also teach a class, or I used to teach a class on the Lord's Prayer. And the Lord's Prayer has like a thing where you follow it with the 6-petaled rose. Yeah. And so I like using the 6 petals for specific things in my life. That's just me. Okay. Now, for this one, and I just want to show you how thin this is. This is pretty thin. I mean, it's really, it's fantastic. It's lightweight. Okay, maybe this isn't particle board, but it is pretty awesome. Mouse, don't move my camera. But this is, it's just amazing. It really is. Sacred geometry shapes are awesome for these. Yes. Oh my gosh. Becky is like on it. This is so great. Okay. So, before I show you more about this, I'm out of my lineup already. I like to flip them over and make my own grid with no guide. Okay, exactly. So the grid that I just had, that I dismantled, isn't exactly in this guide. It's not. I use the points on it. I use like this one and this one and this one and this one. And I use the center, but it's not exactly, it's more of a just like a T shape, a cross shape. It's not exactly what you would typically see with like setting them up at all of the dots, all the intersections. I don't always set them up that way. Okay. I will say it doesn't necessarily have to be in a circle, because as I've said, I've seen people set up crystal grids with some of the Kabbalah symbols, the tree of life. I mean, really, that's a fantastic one. And I've seen people set up crystal grids with that. I've seen people set up crystal grids for with labyrinths. And there's been some places that I've been. Okay, there's been 2 places that I've been that have basically set up like an entire backyard that is a crystal grid. And if you didn't know, if you weren't aware, Mouse, come on, man. If you didn't know, if you weren't aware, or if you weren't a crystal user, you wouldn't know that's what it was. You would just think it was like super decorative. You know what I'm saying? You would just think, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Okay, Mouse. And this is where we are. I mean, he's so cute, but really, like, really. And people think I'm exaggerating on the TikTok videos. Like, but this is my boy. Can you just like help a woman out here? No, you don't have to squint at me. Can you just like, let's just move, okay? Okay, come on, come back up to your nest. Okay, so I also want to talk to you about like the shapes of the crystals. So if you are working on something for love, for instance, grabbing the wrong one, maybe the center of your crystal grid is a heart-shaped rose quartz. Hmm. When I'm trying to push energy out, this is the shape of my my center crystal. It has a point on it. It has several different sides, has lots of different facets. And I also chose this one. Oh, yep, this is exactly what I chose. Look at that. When you look at the bottom, what is that? It's a hexagon. It has 6 sides. So that's what I have in the center of the grid that I created. Okay. In the grid that I created, I have amethyst. I put amethyst at my corners. If you wanted to add something here and here, go to it. You can have this as sparsely filled in, or you could leave it just like that. This is an intention. If you want to add more to it, you can. Because why? This is very, very personal. This is about you. If you want to amplify this clear quartz in the center, let's put some red selenite down. Oh, what does that do? Yeah, it's amplifying it. See what I'm saying? So I also have these really awesome selenite bowls, right? So I love this because you could put this in the center and fill it with whatever it is that you want to fill it with. I mean, again, I'm using the amber because it's just right here, but you could put like a big chunk of amber in it. Here's a prehnite. It's not only lovely, but it's also, this is an incredibly useful tool. Okay. I don't necessarily recommend putting a little globe in the center, but this is too pretty to ignore. This is a little selenite globe, and it's so perfectly situated, but they do roll, right? They're balls, they roll around. So this is very, very important. Obelisks are great for harnessing the energy in the direction you want. Absolutely, Becky. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. God, I appreciate you. So again, it's like, how do you want to do this layout? In this particular layout, I use several things. I use tiny pieces of kyanite. So I use little shards of kyanite. I used little shards of selenite. I used tourmaline, tiny pieces of tourmaline, and Herkimer diamonds. Like, can you see them? Okay, and Herkimer diamonds. Now, I did that for directional things. So I had like a Herkimer diamond and a tourmaline and a Herkimer diamond. So this is kind of how I spaced everything. I did it wrong again. Well, I didn't do it wrong. I just didn't line it up the way I originally had it. So I had a Herkimer diamond in between each tourmaline. Now, this is just how I set it up, okay? And what I did was I sort of just listened to my guides. Like, how do I want to put this? How do I want to engineer this? And then I just started bringing in energy. throwing stuff around. So this is how I set mine up. Okay. Then I had these little jade pieces, and boosting the energy there. So that is my personal grid. And oh, you're absolutely right, Becky. Setting this up is like meditative. It is a meditation. It's how are you feeling? And is it making you feel better? And it should. It should. It's redirecting. It's redirecting energy. It's trying to harness energy and push it out or pull it in. What are you looking to do? Now, as I said, there is no wrong way to do this, but I want to show you some of these other really awesome, some of Becky's stuff. I'm going to blow this up. I feel like there's a better way of doing this. I love this, like me trying to figure, there we go. Okay, we'll go that way. So, look at this beautiful, beautiful, nothing but, hey, Amber Melanie, this is all amethyst. This is from Becky. Now, I want you to see, do you see around this? She is sitting this directly on wood. I actually have some of these as well. Like I have them set because we had to have a tree cut down in our yard. And I asked my brother and my dad, I was like, can you cut me off some like pieces of wood that's just the whole tree, but I just need sections of it. I just need pieces of it. This is a phenomenal way to move that energy. It's a wonderful way to move that energy because the wood is, from the earth, just like the crystals. It's fantastic. Oh, yes. And Becky says all of the amethysts are for sale too. So check out Gypsy Soul Surfer, okay? Sorry. My voice hurts. But she does. Gypsy Soul Surfer has all of these for sale. So when we're looking at, see how she has all of them in sort of just a pattern, and going straight to the center is an amethyst tree. I know it's kind of hard to see that, but it's a tiny amethyst tree. So it's just really, it's an awesome thing. Here's another one of hers. And I want you to notice some stuff. This is all clear quartz. So you don't have to have many different ones. You can have like all the same. You can have just 4 or 5 pieces. This is a perfect illustration of that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. It's so perfect. This is driving me crazy. Okay. So this is such a perfect example of just like 6 pieces with one in the center that like is the anchor, is the focal, is the and I really do prefer using something that has a point on it in the center, but that's my preference. It is not a hard and fast rule, okay? Let's see. Oh, let me go back. Okay, here's some that Becky did with flowers. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you how amazing this is? Look at that. The flowers are amplifying. So you can actually use flowers or herbs or candles to boost this energy, to boost, to use them as an outline, put them under the crystals, sit them like do them around the edge. Like you could essentially make a crystal grid on a piece of paper, maybe with just a row of like rosemary all around the edge, or thyme, if that's something that you prefer, just all around the edge, and creating that grid, that circle, all with with herbs. It's fantastic. You can also do that with rose petals, especially if your grid is about love or peace or even community. Using rose petals is fantastic. I also do like to use candles with mine. Now I use like the smallest candles that I have when I put them on or near my grids, and I usually do set them down around the side. Hi, I see somebody joined from YouTube. Cold. I'm so sorry. I can only see a section of your name and most of the people I know. But hi, welcome. So when I do use candles, I use like small ones, tea lights. If I'm using just white tea lights, I'll write what the candle is for on the side with a magic marker, because white's pretty universal. So is black. Candles, by the way. And I like to just sit those on the here on my grids, or sometimes I just sit them around the edge of my grid. It just depends. It depends on what I'm doing. But this is just such a fantastic example. I mean, this is a fantastic example of different kinds of crystals. And they don't have to be rough. They don't have to be smooth. I like that one. Okay, so Becky created this, and she says this one is about passionate love. That makes perfect sense. She's got rose quartz and rose petals here. I love it. I love it. She's got it sitting on a wood base. This is just phenomenal. This is phenomenal. But do you see how the flowers that are here are positioned? She's got them positioned under the crystals, and they're giving it a boost. They're putting that boost in. I love it. I love it. Okay. I know I'm going to keep saying this, but her freaking crystal grids are amazing. Okay. Let me tell you why I love this one so much. They're all clear quartz, right? You see that they're all clear quartz. I love how and this is just me. The points all look like they're facing out, like they're pushing energy out. And I just feel like this is so, for me, this is like sort of, and she says this one has a clover for luck. I love that, because I feel like we're pulling in, I feel like in the center here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Becky, because I'm just like, I'm vibing with this one big time. This one in the center. Do you see this one in the center? I almost feel like this is pulling energy down, and the rest of these are pushing energy out. So this makes sense if she's looking, like if she's got clover on this for luck, that is pulling energy in, almost transmuting it and sending luck out all over the place. And it's sending luck out to her area, her home, her space. This is fantastic. Oh my gosh. And I so love that it's all the same. Now, again, you just saw one that didn't have all the same crystals, but look at this. Oh yeah. This is not in any kind of, let's call it a grid pattern. She's got this one on the seed of life. No, flower of life. I get those mixed up so bad. So this is on the flower of life. Mine is the seed of life. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. This one is womb healing. That makes so much sense, because this could actually, there's your ovaries. I mean, this does look really feminine. But do you see how she's created something else on this within that grid? Even though she has a layout of the flower of life, and she could, like, utilize all of those, like, those connection points with the lines, with the geometry of it. But what she's done is she's created something within that, and that is fantastic. That is gorgeous. And I think that it's just so beautiful. Is that an amber flower in there, Becky? I've just been, like, drawn to amber a lot lately. I mean, I do love amber. But this is a wonderful example of sort of, I don't want to say going off the rails, but it's not I don't know that you would find this in a book. I mean, you certainly don't find it in this book, and this is a great reference. This is a great book, but it didn't see anything like that in this book. So let's continue. And here is one of my favorites. All right, now I want you to see that. She did this amazing, amazing palm crystal grid. But I want to tell you what she told me when I was, like, wanting to come to her for some healing, when I was wanting to come to her for some clearing. She was like, we can just make the crystal grid on you. Oh, yeah, you can. And I know all of us have seen it. All of us have seen it where practitioners put the crystals directly on you. That's really what they're doing. That is exactly what they're doing. This is a wonderful, wonderful example that if that person can't lay down for some reason, or if that person is, the only way you can get to them or the only way you can work with them is with them sitting straight up and maybe sitting their hands out for you, then put the crystal grid on their palms. Especially the left one. It's closest to the heart. This is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's amazing. She says this is oh wait, no. The little ones are carnelian. It's an amber flower, sunstone, moonstone, and carnelian. Oh no, that was the last grid. I'm sorry, because I was like, this looks like amethyst to me. And I think that this is so, again, I think this is so perfect. I think this is so amazing. Yes, the left hand brings in the energy and the right pushes it out. This is so amazing. The last grid that I showed you before this one, she was telling me all the crystals. It's an amber flower. It's sunstone, moonstone, amber flower, and the little ones are carnelian. And this is for womb healing. I love it. God dang, I love it. So that would be something that you could put, even that womb healing one is one that you could put on someone. This is something that you can definitely put on. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's on someone now. But how amazing is that? This is to show you how many different ways, how many different influences that you can use your crystal grids with. Okay? If you are laying down and you want to put the crystal grid on yourself, you can absolutely do that. I've done that most recently, actually, and I just used a mirror to lay them down. And then I just I just continued to lay down on my bed. I positioned them all where I wanted. And to be honest with you, I did doze off and the crystals got shifted. But that was okay. They did their work. They did their job. I use my face as a grid. Oh, that's a good one, Becky. That's a good one. I want to remind all of you that if you are putting crystals outside, that's okay. It is. But there are some crystals that do not like water. Okay. So you do need to pay attention to the crystals that don't like to get wet, that maybe they can disintegrate when they get wet. So we don't want to sit them out in the weather, in rain. Selenite is one of them. Really, anything that ends in ITE, we need to pay close attention to that, because kyanite, pyrite, they're not, selenite, they're not a fan of the water. Okay, that's a good point, Becky. Thank you again. Amethyst will go white. Amethysts lose their color in the sun. Okay, I had an amethyst heart to put here, and I don't have it. I don't know where it is. But those are really, I mean, these are things that you need to think about, like what is it that what are you wanting to do? I will charge my crystals in the moon, in the sun, but I don't typically leave them outside. I don't typically leave them out in the sun, just because there's too many animals in my yard and they will mess with them. But also, like, I usually put amethyst on there. I usually put some kind of amethyst, and it will bleach them out. I know. I mean, it may take a while, but yeah. There was something else that I wanted to. Oh, yes. Okay, so statues. You can put statues, you can put emblems, anything, really anything that leads you or is like means something to you. So like here is my Ganesh who's broken, and so I could sit him here. I have a small one. There he is. Haha. Hello. So you could put him in the center. He's the remover of obstacles. Are you trying to get rid of some obstacles? Yeah, he's here. I have one of my symbols as Mary, and I have her, like, sometimes I'll set her in the center. I'm trying to think. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you guys. So this is another directional thing. But I use this a lot. Here's the crystal that goes in the center. I use this a lot for like many different reasons. When I'm setting things up for, like, okay, let's say I've got a client that's really trying to make a change in Ganesh, Veronica, Ganesh. And organite pyramids are great in the center too. Thank you, Becky. You can leave them in mason jars. Yes, you can. You can put your stuff in mason jars. Your crystals in mason jars if you don't want them to get wet. Ganesh, thank you. Becky and Veronica. Yeah. I feel like I'm talking to people from RT. I don't know that there was a Becky, but I feel like, I mean, there was a Betty, but it just sort of reminded me of that. I'm sorry, I'm going off. Okay. So let's say that I have a client that wants to make some huge changes in 2024. Okay. And it doesn't have to be like all of these. This is, why is this looking so out of focus? Maybe it's just the shadows. Okay, so it doesn't have to be all 7. I also have one of these that has 4. I have one that has 5. Like the points. But the important thing is do you see the points here? Each of these has a point, and they're all rose quartz. Okay, so what I do with this is I put I will put their name. You know, what is wrong with me? I'm going to try this again and see if it's just the shadows. Okay, so what I do is I put their name under this. Like I write on the piece of paper and I just like put their name. Okay. Then I sit this down and let's say I'm doing this for Veronica or Becky, that I sit here and go, they're looking for new job, new home, new car, like more income, looking for the love of their life, looking for a meaningful hobby, or you see what I'm saying? You fill all of those slots up. Now, I seriously usually do not have somebody that is looking for 7 things. Okay. Usually I actually have a few set up right now for clients, but I'm not showing them to you because they're personal, right? But I usually do the 4. Sometimes I'll do the 5. And when I do the 5, it's just a star configuration. So I'm literally just drawing like a star. And then I just put their name in the center and I put, looking for a real love match, looking for a home, or looking to renovate their home, looking for a different way to grow their business, or looking for funding for a nonprofit or something. I'm just throwing things out here, but you draw the star or you put the crystals at a cross. But what you want to make sure is that you have the points going out towards that thing. So if you're lining this up, you have these crystal points pointing towards what they want. You see what I'm saying? And again, this is Jennifer's thing. So I would put the Herkimer diamond that has a point on it. Do you see that? The Herkimer diamond, it's a small one. Do I have a better one? Okay, I do. So you see that Herkimer diamond has a point on it, and it would be pointing to what they want. And in the center, you put something like a clear quartz, or don't I have, oh yeah, okay, or this wonderful fluorite, this wonderful rainbow fluorite that I have. You can put that in the center. You see? And we're pulling it down. If they're just focused on some sort of love relationship, I would probably choose either one of the hearts that I have, or I would just choose rose quartz. Ah, that's so much better. Here's another good example of some of the points. But see, this is just a clear quartz. And I have several of them. They're not all out right now. But I have several of them that give that nice little point up so that you can set up your grid for you or your clients or, whatever. So what is this, mouse? Are you throwing my shit around? God. You're lucky you're so cute. Oh, this isn't a class just on crystals. I did want to just talk about the crystal grids, but I do have I have some crystals in here that are really, really handy for doing some of these things with. If you can find larger stars, larger crystals that are in the shape of a star already, that's a good thing. Finding something that is just meaningful to you is, again, fantastic. because some of the things that I have in here may not be meaningful to anybody but me. Now, here is something that I have done with this fluorite bracelet. I have put a tiny crystal grid inside of this fluorite bracelet. So I essentially had the bracelet like sitting down, and I put a tiny little 4-pointed crystal grid, and in the center I had another rainbow fluorite right in the center. You like my camera, my ceiling there? So that was just like really, I mean, that was something that I did. It was something that I was just like, oh, okay. And I was also traveling at the time, and I needed a quick crystal grid because I don't know how many of you have heard me talk about Dr. Seuss, but Dr. Seuss doesn't like to travel. He's getting better, all right? He's getting better, but Dr. Seuss does not really like to travel. So when we travel, sometimes he gets a lot of anxiety. He gets a lot, like, there's a lot of things that can disrupt him or whatever. And usually I can take kind of care of things, but there was this one time we were traveling, and he was just having a really, really hard time in the hotel that we were at. So I just quickly took off my bracelet and I did a tiny little crystal grid inside the bracelet and set it up in our hotel room so that he could like enjoy the rest of our trip. Luckily, we were only there for like 3 days, so it was okay, but it really brought it down. Yeah. So I think what I had in it was I think I had Herkimer diamonds. I think I even had a few little tiny pieces of amethyst, and then I had the other rainbow fluorite. You know, because you have to travel with a certain amount of crystals, right? But I mean, that's the thing, is like wherever and whatever you can do. I mean, the next time we're going somewhere, I may like set something up on a selenite disc. This is fantastic. I use it to clear my cards after each of my readings. I use the square ones. Here is my, and I still haven't cleaned the coffee off of it because I spilled coffee on this a couple of weeks ago. But this is my flower of life, and it's etched into the selenite. So really, I could set up a crystal grid on this selenite. So it's fantastic. I mean, it really is. That's a great idea, is to travel with your crystals in little jars. That's a great idea. Because, you know, I have little pouches and I put them in different things, and I have been known to carry them, like, you know, in my jewelry boxes and put my jewelry in something else. It's just, you know, I'm a menace when it comes to packing. I do love these little, like this little selenite. I think it's supposed to be like a support, so that when you do get like globes or like a ball or something, that it's like a support and it's selenite. Let me tell you something. I put all kinds of crystals on this to amplify. And this will be something perfect to sit right in the center of your grid and just pop the prehnite on there, which is what I had on it, or to put I don't have a lot of small ones out. I'm so sorry, you guys. Let's do the smoky quartz. I got this one actually from La Hermosa Bruja, so think about that. This is a beautiful piece of smoky quartz, and that would just be perfect, and it would amplify right there in the center. I don't think it would stand up, but, you know, again, it's just thoughts. So this is a very personal thing. This is a very personal thing. You pick crystals that are personal to you. Like I have a lot of hearts here. My friend Laura collects them, and a couple of these were given to me as presents from like friends, and my husband's given me a couple. One or two I picked up myself. I have even more hearts that are not out here, but a lot of these crystal hearts came from my friend Laura because she collects them, and sometimes she'll just pick some up and then she gives one to me as well. It's kind of fun. It's nice. But so I use like the crystal hearts for a lot of different things. It feels to me like they're already like bringing in some kind of love of some kind. So you can think about that. This is very personal to you. And I'll bet if my friend Laura was setting up a crystal grid because she collects heart crystals, she just has a thing about it. Because she collects them, maybe her entire grid would just be all made up of hearts. You know, food for thought there. Sorry, somebody is just like buzzing me. And I shouldn't be hearing from any more Black Friday sales, right? You can use the hearts with the point towards the middle to focus the energy. Ooh. Becky, that's good. That is good. Putting that like so that the point is towards the middle so you can focus the energy that's genius. Especially with my pyrite. This came from my friend Laura. So pretty. I need to. Do you polish pyrite? But the labradorite, oh my gosh, one of my favorites. And that would be amazing is if you had a whole bunch of hearts and just pointed all the points, the base into the center. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, now that I've talked your ear off about crystal grids, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions for me? Again, you can print the seed of life and the flower of life. You can print an image of it off the internet and create your own. You can create it for something specific. You can create it for something very general. And I'm telling you, because I've been working on healing crystal grids for something specific. Like I've been working on crystal grids for healing for people with addictions. Because I'm addicted to sugar. So I've been working on that, just sort of playing around to see what feels right, what's like more in line. I've been working on crystal grids for focus. I've been working on crystal grids for stability. I've been sort of playing around with this, and I got to tell you, I love it. And the more I play around with it, the more it feels like it's just opening up my intuition even more because I'm having fun with it. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I'm trying to bring in focus and clarity to like specific people. And I'm working with them to create a grid for that. I mean, come on. The country is on a national shortage of ADHD medication. And I will tell you, some of the people that I'm talking to have been on this medication for years. So they're really needing help with focus right now. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit a part of that, but I haven't been on the medication for years. So I truly, there's no real wrong way to do this. If you are putting candles with it, please be responsible. Do not light your house on fire. Do not light your crystal grid paper or wood or whatever you're doing. Don't light it on fire. Okay? Let's think responsibly. Okay? Just make sure that, we're not torching anything. What? Mouse is staring at me. Hello, Grace. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. This is so much fun for me. I think it would be a lot of fun for you guys if you got out there and started playing with it. If you do start playing with this, please send me pictures. Send me pictures at metaphysicalroundtable@gmail.com. I'll put them out there. I'll put them on my Instagram or my Facebook. This is so cool, though. I mean, all of Becky's stuff that I showed you guys tonight, she has some awesome stuff. And look, like the ones that she did that were sort of traditional and the ones that she did that were completely outside of the box. I love it. There's really no wrong way to do this. This is one that I created. I'm about to like redo it and see what else I can come up with. I mean, and putting crystal grids on top of crystal, that's a good one. Putting them on top of wood. I mean, really, you can go in any direction. Okay. And sometimes it's just, it helps you if you're working at it, like Becky said, like in a meditative way. It can maybe help you figure some stuff out and help you get answers, help you get clarity. That's what we're all looking for, I think. You guys, don't forget to shop at La Hermosa Bruja. She has some amazing stuff. Carrie has great stuff. It's getting close to Christmas, so, get your favorite people smudge. Get them some crystals from her. You can also get crystals from Becky. She is at Gypsy Soul Surfer. And she also has a group on Facebook, Gypsy Soul Surfer, and it's awesome too. She does a lot of great stuff with mandalas and I mean, again, gorgeous stuff. And she did a mandala for me like I guess it was about last October. I was having a real hard time with my throat chakra. And she did it for me with my image, with my picture. And she turned it into a mandala. And it's amazing. I still use it. When I need like help with like saying what's on my mind or speaking my truth, whatever. Yeah, I use it a lot. So thank you, Becky. Thank you, Becky, for sharing all of your crystal grids and all of your amazing crystal knowledge. Again, the books that I used today were Spells for Change and Crystal Pairings. These are absolutely fantastic books. They're by no means the only ones out there. I like this book for so many different reasons, but it has an entire section on crystals and their meanings, their properties, their uses, what sign it's associated with, and I just it truly is. It's just it's an awesome book. Okay. All right. Any questions? Thank you guys so much for joining me. I love this. I love it. I love being here with you guys. Don't forget to watch my shows on Readings at the Round Table. And don't forget to check out Gypsy Soul Surfer on Facebook. And La Hermosa Bruja, thank you again for letting me stream to your page, Carrie. She has some amazing stuff. Make sure you check out her website. And I mean, we got some good stuff happening out there, people. Good stuff available for you. Yeah. And I am in the middle of I'm working on my website, trying to change it. But most of my stuff is on Amazon, but I have some stuff for sale on my website until I get my website rolled over to the new one. Isn't that fun? Doesn't that sound like something I need to do during Mercury retrograde at the end of the year? Yeah. All right, you guys, I hope y'all have an awesome night. And until we see each other again, get out there and make your magic. Bye, y'all.